Friends and family are paying their final respects to Jennifer Hudson's mother, brother, and nephew today. The funeral services for 57-year-old Darnell Hudson Donnerson, 28-year-old Jason Hudson, and the 7-year-old boy, Julian King, are all private. Mourners gathered at the singer's childhood church yesterday for both a private and public memorial service. People waited in a long line to pay their final respect and leave condolence cards.
She's handling it right now, because she's being strong for the rest of the family as well, for her step. So she's handling it as best as she can.
You're asking me a lot of questions that nobody knows the answer to.
Everybody
No, not everybody. That has not been said on this show. So, ma'am, you need to get your facts straight, because that has not been said on this show.
I didn't say it was. I'm not.
You said everybody. I'm not everybody.
I'm just in general saying to the public.
Yeah, well, let's just get that straight. Straight back out to Michelle Sagona with America's Most Wanted. We can confirm a ballistics matchup between the gun and the bullets. That is, in fact, the murder weapon. It's a .45 caliber P220 Sig Sauer semi-automatic. It is German-made, often called the Cadillac of .45s. Michelle, what can you tell me about Balfour, the brother-in-law of Jennifer Hudson, former brother-in-law, car being in the neighborhood of the murders the morning of the murders around 7 a.m.?
Yeah, there are other reports out there, Nancy, that do say that there's some surveillance tape out there that does, in fact, show his car. Now, what police, I asked that question to them earlier today. I said, were you able to see anything on the surveillance? Was there any clear pictures of anyone, whether it was him or whether it was someone else driving the vehicle, a tag number, things like that? They will not go on the record. They will not confirm any of that information.
To Kathy Cheney with the Chicago Defender. Kathy, I understand Balfour's car was later found abandoned at Robeson High School, which is a little less than a mile from the Hudson family home. True or false?
That's true. That's true. And surveillance cameras do show that that car was there. And as Michelle said, that someone was seen going in or out of it, but the images are not clear. And Chicago police said that they will not release the images from the video to show that.
Do we know if when the person got out, he went into another vehicle, or did he walk away?
Pretty much just walked away. Based on what police are telling us, and they won't tell us much more than that.
Kathy, do we know what time the vehicle was abandoned at Robeson High School?
People are saying, and the police are saying, if the time is correct on the video, it was around between noon and 12:30 that day.
Between
if
noon
the time
and
was
12:30.
correct.
All right.
Yes.
And back to you, Michael Sapiconi. Why wouldn't the timestamp be correct?
As you have to keep in mind, I think this is a high school camera. We don't know if it's digital. We don't know if it's analog. A lot of times, the schools don't keep up on their cameras. It's not a law enforcement camera. The times change. The dates sometimes are wrong. These are all things we have to look at.
I want to go to James Ganello, forensic firearms examiner with the Strya Consulting Group. James, thanks for being with us. What more can you tell me about a .45 P220 semi-automatic? Explain semi-automatic.
Semi-automatic means that you have to squeeze the trigger every time you want to fire that weapon, and the weapon automatically unloads and reloads itself every time it's fired.
And what is the benefit to a semi-automatic versus an automatic?
Well, an automatic weapon is more of a military type of weapon. Semi-automatic works in the same way. It's just that it has a cutoff where you have to squeeze the trigger every time you want to fire it. Therefore, you can control the weapon better.
How much is a Sig Sauer? About $1,000?
It's between $800 and $900 on the internet, but $1,000 probably isn't average ordinance.
And how much is it at a pawn shop?
That would depend upon the pawn shop and how much a person wants it.
Ballpark?
I would say it's probably a little bit less than that, probably used one, $600-700.
Have you ever analyzed a .45 or ballistics to a .45?
Yes, I have.
And how do you compare Sig Sauer to others?
Sig Sauer is a quality weapon, well-made, manufactured with German technology, a very good weapon.
I would say it's the high end of .45s. Do you agree?
I agree.
We're taking your calls to Alexa in Texas. Hi, Alexa.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling. Dear, what's your question?
I was wondering if there were any drugs found in the Hudson home.
Interesting. To Kathy Cheney, Chicago Defender reporter, what do we know?
Police will not reveal what was found in the home. They will continue to say it's just an ongoing investigation and that they're looking at everything. But again, they will not confirm.
To Michelle Sagona with America's Most Wanted. Michelle, can you tell me if the victim was walking with a cane at the time of the shooting?
No, I cannot tell you if the victim was walking with a cane at the time of the shooting. But, you know, again, what investigators are doing at this point, Nancy, is really focusing on the timeline and really trying to put pieces like that together and, you know, compile this for the grand jury.
To Kathy Cheney with the Chicago Defender, do you know whether one of the victims, Jason Hudson specifically, walked with a cane?
Yes, in several pictures and his friends and several videos, he was seen walking with the cane, yes, because I believe he had some type of injury to his leg. So, yes, he was walking with the cane.
Would that injury be a gunshot wound?
Reports are saying that it was from a gunshot wound.
And do reports also say he refused to go to the hospital? This is the victim, Jason Hudson, age 29. Is it true he did not go to the hospital when he was shot in the leg? This is about a year ago?
Sources did say that, but police won't confirm that, but that is what our sources are saying, yes.
Out to Dr. Lawrence Kobelinsky, famed forensic scientist out of John Jay College of Criminal Justice. What do you make of what may or may not have been found at the crime scene and them not putting a charge on Balfour yet? Don't you think if they found fingerprints or DNA, you get DNA in 3 days or less, Kobe?
I think that's a good point, Nancy, but the key is not that crime scene, but the key is DNA on the gun. What they will do is swab the grip, swab the trigger guard, barrel. They're going to go through the magazine, the ammunition in the magazine. If they get a partial or a full profile, that will link the shooter directly to the gun. The gun's already ballistically linked to the crime scenes and the victims.
You and I both know that so often the bullets, once they travel through bone, tissue, and so forth in a human body, you're not going to get a print off of a bullet.
No,
plus they're mangled.
Yeah, you'll either get them deformed or fragmented, but what's more important are the shell casings. 4 different kinds of distinguishing unique marks are on those shell casings, linking them to the gun.